Welcome, everyone. I am Carl Willis with Agent Branding and Marketing. Today, we are going to break down a massive opportunity that most insurance agents simply overlook. And when managed correctly, it's not just a credibility marker, it's actually a client generating machine. And so we're going to talk about how to turn your reviews into actual revenue for your agency today. So I'm glad you've taken the time out to join us and hope you'll grab a pen and paper, get ready to take some notes, and we're going to make today's session a true source of value for you and an opportunity to grow the revenues of your agency. If you've not ever joined us for one of our webinars, just a little bit of information on myself, why you might want to listen to me. My name is Carl Willis, and I'm a former Series 7 advisor. Got the wrong slide there. Former Series 7 advisor, Series 6, 63, 65, life, accident, and health. Been in the online marketing space since 1997, back in the days of dial-up, and have been a featured speaker on the topic of lead generation and internet marketing for some time. Have spoken internationally. I've worked with clients across the United States and across the world, and am looked at as a go-to expert on lead generation for the insurance industry. And so glad to have you with us today. Anytime you hear me talk, we're going to talk about the ecosystem. And again, I should have paid attention to my slides. I've got a wrong slide up here. But the ecosystem is basically a big pie. And the big pie has these slices, and all of these slices are going to be components like your search engine optimization, your pay-per-click marketing, and when we look at your you know what? The reason I've got the wrong slides is because I've got the wrong slide deck, but we're just going to push through this. That's okay. Is we've got this all of these components go into your ecosystem, and all of them play together to create your total online presence. And so the real key is making sure that you are playing every potential angle that you can of that online ecosystem so that you have every possible advantage available to you working for your benefit. And so, what we're going to deal with today is dealing with the review side of things, which really deals with not only your referral business and your repeat business, but anymore also deals with your digital online presence, which is kind of unique, maybe a little counterintuitive to what you have traditionally been used to. So, here's what we're going to look at today and what you're going to be learning today is you're going to be learning how to collect more and better reviews without sounding desperate. We're going to talk about how to showcase those reviews for SEO purposes for maximum trust. And we're going to talk about how those reviews impact your search visibility. And then I'm going to give you a 30-day action plan for growth. And so that's where we're headed during our time together today. And again, thank you for tuning in and spending this time with me. Now, what I want you to understand is um, reviews are the trust currency for you as an insurance agent. And I'm just going to get this out of the way. We run a second agency for home remodeling companies, and this slide deck, I updated the top portion of the slide deck for our insurance agents. For some reason, I wasn't paying attention and missed the fact that the bottom says home remodelers. So you'll have to excuse me. Um, the slides themselves are actually for you as an insurance agent. You'll have to forgive me for the bottom half of the slide. So, when we talk about reviews, your first impression doesn't happen in person anymore. It actually happens online. In fact, what we find is 93% of people actually read reviews before they make a decision to contact you. And half the people who read reviews actually will not contact you if your reviews are under 4 stars. So your online reputation is more valuable than a business card or a flyer. And let me just, take this a step further. Basically, 57% of online users avoid businesses rated under 4 stars. So you're losing more than half of the potential customer traffic if your reviews are under 4 stars or less. So you really have to pay attention to this because trust is the new digital currency. And in fact, one of Google's criteria in their algorithm is trust, experience, expertise, authority, and trust. You have to keep that in mind. And here's why this is so critical, and this is the psychological component in decision making for the consumer. People use emotion when making insurance buying decisions. Like it or not, it is still an emotional decision. Whether it's life insurance, Medicare insurance, auto insurance, or home insurance, it is an emotion based decision, first and foremost, and then it is supported by logic, second. Here's what I mean by that: a person is going to make that decision based first and foremost on how they feel, and then they are going to validate that decision with logic based on things like rate, pricing, bundle discounts, all of those types of things. And so what happens is a glowing review can either ease anxiety and confirm that prospective customer's choice, or a negative review or missing reviews can ramp up that anxiety and that fear, planting seeds of doubt, and then cause them to avoid you. See, here's what you need to remember: poor reviews or no reviews trigger doubt. And you have to remember basic human nature and psychology. The number one trigger of action is pain avoidance and fear. But what it triggers is fight or flight. So I want you to think about this, to the agent who's out here watching and listening. Do you really want your prospects either positioning themselves to fight with you or to run away from you? I don't think so. That's not the emotion you want to be stirring in your prospective audience. What you want to be stirring in them is a sense of peace, a sense of calm, and a sense of trust. And so good reviews are going to foster those types of emotions. Poor reviews and missing reviews or no reviews are going to foster that fear and that anxiety. And what it's going to do is trigger that fight or flight response. They would rather avoid you than have to deal with that type of emotion. Because again, people buy with emotion and then they support that decision, they justify it with logic. Now, you have to bear in mind that the modern buying journey looks different than what you think it looks like. See, the modern buying journey is not as simple as you think it is. What a lot of agents mistakenly think is that a consumer hits your ad, and then as soon as they hit your ad, what they do is they go to your website and then immediately they fill out a form or they call you. Well, that is absolutely 100% not the way it works. And the reason we know this is because we use data to tell us what actually happens. And here's actually how the average insurance prospect behaves today. They see your ad or they get referred, and then the first thing that they do is they do a Google search. They Google search you. And after they Google you, then they read your reviews. And then they visit your website, and then they scroll to your social media, and then maybe, just maybe, they submit a form on your website or they pick up the phone and they call you. So your reviews either pull them in because they're starting to feel comfortable with you, they're starting to trust you, they're starting to get that emotional feeling of well-being about doing business with you, or your reviews start to repel them and push them away because it is sending the wrong kind of signal. And so here's what we need to understand is that if we are sending the wrong kind of signal, what ends up happening is we end up repelling our prospective customers. And so, what we want to do is make sure we are raising the comfort level of our prospects because their buying journey is going to take them through multiple steps. Now, here's when and how to ask for reviews because timing is everything. In fact, the best moment to ask for that review is right after the policy gets issued or a successful claim experience because, again, emotion is everything. People make decisions based first on emotion, and then they support those decisions with logic. And so, what we want to do is we want to
What's up,
ride
man?
that emotional wave when we are asking for reviews. So, we want to use email, we want to use text, we want to use QR codes or thank you cards to ride that emotional wave. And so here's a script that you can use to get those good reviews from your satisfied customers. Number one, you want to start off with your feedback helps others. Again, we want to seed positive emotion. Everybody wants to feel like they are being helpful. We want to stir that altruistic component that resides within most people. Your feedback helps others. Choose the right agent. Would you mind leaving a quick review so others can have a great experience just like the one you've had? Let me say that again. Your feedback helps others choose the right agent. Would you mind leaving a quick review so others can have the same kind of great experience you've had? Now, what we want to do though is we want to remove as many barriers to getting that review as we possibly can. So, one of the things that we want to do is make things simple. Use QR codes, for example. QR codes are one of my favorite things to do for reviews. One of the things we do here at Agent Branding and Marketing for our clients is we create QR codes that they can laminate, they can put on their desk, they can carry around, they can put on the back of their business card. That QR code immediately takes the customer to their Google business profile. It's pre-populated for a 5-star review, and they can leave that review. We also give them a customized link that they can send out by text, by email to ask for those reviews. We want to make this as simple as possible. Now, here's a little bit more coaching for you in asking for reviews. You want to ask your client to talk a little bit about the services that you provided for them. What was it that you as an agent did for that particular customer? So if it was auto insurance, you want them to mention that term, auto insurance or life insurance or Medicare insurance. Whatever it was that you were doing for them, you want that mentioned in that review. And here's why. Those keywords get indexed in the search engine. And if you caught our last webinar, one of the things you will know is that search engines are now becoming answer engines. And so we don't do search engine optimization as much as we do answer engine optimization anymore, because the search engine is now an answer engine. What the search engine is now doing is it is using Google's AI, Google's Gemini, to give the searcher the exact response to their query, not just a set of links that they can go down and search. And so when you're asking for that review, what we want to do is we want to feed that review with as much keyword rich information as possible, because the AI in the search engine is going to pull that information. So when you ask your customer, hey, would you mind leaving me a review? Here's the QR code. You can go do that. By the way, would you mention the services that we provided for you? What we want to see is that John did a great job of providing me low cost auto insurance. They were able to lower my rates by X amount. That's a great review. What it does is it loads that review up with a lot of good keywords. The AI can pull from that. And what we're finding, and again, go back and watch last month's webinar. It's on YouTube if you haven't seen it yet. Google's AI is now, when it's making recommendations, it's even telling the consumer, hey, ABC Insurance Agency customers say they get good rates for their customers. Uh, ABC Insurance Agency does a great job of finding good health coverage for their customers. So it's pulling actual content from these reviews and putting it out there as a recommendation in front of prospective customers. So we don't just want to get reviews, we want to seed those reviews with good, helpful information so that it's driving new business for you. And so, again, what we want to do is we want to ask for these reviews when your customers are at this emotional high. They've had a great experience with you, they're excited, you've saved them money or you've gotten them great coverage, and they are thrilled to be working with you. That's the best time to get that review because the emotion is high. And so they are going to communicate that in that review. And we want that information being pulled across when the AI pulls that review information to make recommendations later on. This is how we turn that review into a revenue generator for you. Now, here's the thing that tends to happen is, as an agent, you're busy. And so that means sometimes you may not remember to ask for the review, or if you've got a team, sometimes remembering to get that review can be the big challenge. So sometimes we need to automate that task. And there are tools out there like Bird Eye and Podium and Rocket Referrals that will help automate that task. It will help do the heavy lifting. One of the things you can also do is you can plug into your CRM as part of your follow-up sequence any new customer that you are inputting into your CRM. One of the first emails going out asks for that review, gives them a link, but automate that process if it's something you're not going to do automatically. Now, let me say this. People are kind of a little turned off by automation these days. And so if you go the extra mile and make the personal ask, you are going to get better reviews and you are going to get a larger quantity of reviews as opposed to your competition. And so my preference for you is be the agent that stands out because you put that extra touch in. You're the one that goes to your clients and says, hey, I am looking to work with clients just like you, and I value you. And so I would value a testimonial from you. Would you mind leaving me this review? What that does is it puts you in a category unlike everybody else. Everybody and their dog is sending out automated review requests right now. So one of the ways for you to look different, for you to brand differently, for you to be the go-to standout agent in your market is to be the person that puts a little extra touch to it. But if you're so slammed that you're not going to do that, then use the automation and at least let the automation do the heavy lifting. I would rather see you use the automation and still get the review than to not get the review, because no review creates anxiety in the mind of the prospects, whereas at least a review will create some ease in the mind of your prospective customer. So if we're going to put things in a priority, hands-on is best, automation is second, no review is absolutely pitiful. So that's kind of the way we want to go about things. The biggest thing is we don't want to let these reviews slip through the cracks. So at the worst case scenario, set the automation in motion, let it work in the background, serve your new clients. You know what's going to work best for your agency. You know what you're trying to accomplish. You know what your load looks like. You know how to best make this happen in your agency. Now, once you get this review, though, that's not where this ends. You want to repurpose these reviews and you want to squeeze every ounce of juice out of those that you can. You want to showcase these reviews to the maximum. So your reviews really need to live everywhere that your prospects are looking. Like we discussed before, what happens is when your prospect sees your ad or they are first introduced to you, what they do is they go on this rabbit trail. They go on a quest for information. And so we want those reviews to live everywhere that they are going to go in search of information. So they're going to go to Google, they're going to go to your homepage, they might go to a place like Medicare.gov if you're a Medicare agent. They are going to go to your Facebook, your Instagram. They might even go to YouTube. So we want to think about things like short testimonial videos. We want to think about creating showcase images where we showcase those reviews. We don't want to let good feedback collect dust. We want to show it off. And so create graphics around those reviews, repurpose them. And let me say this, a short testimonial video is an absolute gold mine. So if you've got a client who is willing to leave you a fabulous review, ask them, hey, would you mind recording a 60-second video for me and just give me a testimonial? Because you can repurpose that into Facebook Reels, Instagram Shorts, YouTube Shorts. You can throw that into your social media, your Google business profile. You can put that on your website. Video is powerful. And again, if you watched last month's video, you'll see Google has actually put a new category into the search bar, and it's for short form video. And so short form video is now getting indexed. It's part of your bigger footprint. So we want to make sure that we are playing every available ace that we have to our advantage. So when you've got good reviews, we want to showcase those because, again, what we're trying to do is raise the emotional comfort that that prospective customer has with you. We want to ease their fears. We want to calm their anxieties because they're going to make their buying decision first based on emotion, and then they're going to back it up with logic. Also, remember that reviews boost search engine optimization. And I talked about this a few minutes ago. Reviews that are packed with real keywords are going to help you rank better in Google Maps and in the local searches. And here's the key: the more recent that review is and the more relevant it is, the more Google is going to favor you. And this is one of the cheapest and easiest ways to climb organically in the search results. And the math equation, if you will, is recency plus relevance equals higher Google local visibility. And what it does is it boosts those near me local searches. And so back to anytime you're asking for a review, ask your client, hey, go ahead and leave me a couple of sentences on the work that I did for you. Leave a couple sentences on the services we provided for you. Talk about what it is that we were doing for you. Talk about your satisfaction with the service we provided, what it is you liked about our agency. Ask them to do more than just say, John did a good job. John did a good job doesn't move the needle. John saved us money on our home insurance moves the needle. And so that's what we want to have in there is those good keywords in those reviews. Now, again, everything is moving to an AI driven result. And this, again, I keep referring back to our webinar last month. I'm going to point you back to it. You really need to get tuned into what Google is doing, moving from SEO to answer engine, because the AI footprint is critical. Because Google is now using their Gemini AI to answer search questions. And so when you type in a search query, what Google's Gemini is doing is it's breaking that query into every conceivable question that may be under the surface of your question to provide an answer back to you. And so reviews play a major role in how you show up because Google's AI considers your online reputation as part of its search result. Reviews are going to impact the generative search visibility, and then it's also going to look at your overall digital footprint. When I talk about your footprint is more than just your website. Your footprint is your Google business profile, it is your Facebook page, it is your LinkedIn profile, your Yelp profile, your Better Business profile, your YouTube channel, your Instagram profile, it's your reviews, it's your directory listings. What it ultimately comes down to is it is consistency across the web. This is where things are headed, and it's already here. Google uses this footprint information to make its recommendation. And what it does is it pulls that information and then it says, here's our recommendations to you based on what we see in the footprint. Now, here's the challenge. If you don't show up in that recommendation, you just don't exist. And so you want to exist in this environment. So you have to consider your footprint. Now, here's what we're finding in our own analysis and in our own data. The places you really want to show up: Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, the Google business profile, and YouTube. Those places in particular, plus your website and your blog. When you do that, what you end up doing is you end up creating topical authority for yourself, and you do it on a broad spectrum. You create a very broad footprint that Google can easily follow, and we see good results coming from agents who are using that formula to create their footprint. Now, you also want to turn your reviews into content. As we said before, don't let your reviews just collect dust. Once you get those, repurpose those. Share on social media every week your reviews. Make a quick video out of a testimonial. Use it in your email signature. Every one of these reviews is another tiny marketing asset that you can leverage over and over again. You want to build on your successes. Remember, people make buying decisions based first on emotion, and then they support it with logic. So turn those reviews into content. Turn it into social media posts, video testimonials, embed those reviews into your blog posts as highlights, put those as quotes into your email signatures or into your email broadcasts, but repurpose those reviews as part of your overall content strategy. Now, let's be honest, along the way, you are going to get some bad reviews. So, how do you handle the bad reviews when they come along? Well, first and foremost, respond quickly. Let me say that again, respond quickly. Resolve the issue if possible, and then reposition your brand with follow-up. Here's what I want you to understand. Potential clients aren't scared of a bad review. They understand that in business, you're not going to make everybody happy all the time. What they do want to see is how you as an agent or your agency deals with trouble, with problems, with situations that arise when everything is not going right. Do you handle it well? See, what causes fear for that prospect is when they see you ignoring the problem. So use the 3 R's: respond, resolve, and reposition. Here's a sample response you might use. We value your feedback and we want to make things right. Please give us a call today so we can further discuss your concern. That's an easy way to respond, to resolve, and reposition. And the audience that's looking in from the outside, trying to decide if they're going to do business with you, will respect the fact that you have been proactive in trying to maintain that relationship. Now, here's a quick case study for you. This is a client that before we implemented a review strategy, had 12 reviews and limited Google Maps visibility. So what we worked on was for 60 days, let's go after reviews. So for 60 days, what they did was they just started asking for reviews. We also did what's called a database reactivation campaign. So we crafted an email that they sent out to their previous customers. And in 60 days, they picked up 58 reviews. And what that did is it created an increase in their visibility in the map pack. So they became more visible, their rankings went up. And what that brought about was a 32% increase in quote requests. So just by being more visible, by being more proactive in asking for reviews, that higher visibility led to more quote requests. Naturally, more quote requests lead to more closed business. That's the power of reputation marketing. That's why we say this is a revenue generator, and it's a low cost revenue generator. You're not having to spend ad money to generate this type of revenue. It's just simply being proactive with people who've already done business with you. Now, we want to help you accomplish a similar result. So I'm going to give you a 30-day review challenge here. Now it's your turn. Here's the 30-day challenge. So for the next 30 days, collect 15 new reviews. Post them on at least 5 platforms. So pick your platforms: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, your website, your Google business profile. Capture 3 short video testimonials from some of your top customers. And those actions alone should make a shift in your local authority in a matter of weeks. And so make that adjustment and then do that month after month. But that's your 30-day challenge. So do this for the next 30 days and then do that the next 30 days and the next 30 days. Make this just a standard operating process within your agency and see how it begins to really revolutionize the inbound traffic coming into your agency. Now, of course, we want to help you take the next step. Here at Agent Branding and Marketing, we would love to do a strategy session with you. And here at Agent Branding and Marketing, our strategy session is really broken up into 2 components. First is a 15-minute discovery call where my marketing assistant will work with you, get some basic information, and then we'll do some due diligence and do a full 90-minute strategy call. In that strategy call, we'll do a review audit. We'll look at your SEO footprint. We'll look at your reputation report. We'll look at your total marketing from a 30,000-foot view. We'll make recommendations. Even if you don't choose to work with us, that information is available for you to take away and apply to your circumstance. Of course, we would love to work with you as well. We only work with insurance agents at Agent Branding and Marketing, as I said before. And you see in the slides, we do have a second agency that works in the home remodeling space. But at Agent Branding and Marketing, all of our resources are for insurance agents only. You can schedule that call at agentbrandingandmarketing.com/schedule. You can also call us at 888-572-8758. We'd love for you to book that strategy call with us. And let's go ahead and open it up for any questions. If you've got questions today on how to turn your reviews into a revenue engine, I'd love to hear those. If you've got some questions on challenges you've had generating reviews, go ahead and ask those as well. All right, doesn't look like we've got any questions, so we're going to go ahead and bring our webinar to a close. Appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today, and we look forward to having you on our next webinar. Thanks for tuning in. If you're not a subscriber, be sure and subscribe to the Digital Insurance Agent Podcast. You can find that anywhere that you download your podcast content. Also, subscribe to us on YouTube. We put out regular content there as well. And thank you for tuning in. And we look forward to working with you in the days ahead.